Hello, today we're going to learn about blueprint, variables, and function and macros. So we create a new project, we go to our content drawer, create a new folder, name it blueprint, go to our blueprint, create a new blueprint class, parent actor, we name it bb underscore test. So we attach it here, we go to our event graph, we delete this, and we start. We have the first variable is boolean. Boolean is the variable that gives true or false. So we can see here, can give it as compiled first, can give a default value or true, or we give it false. By default, it's false. We can get it here, can do something like branch, we do events, begin play here. So let's test it. If it's false, print string is true, split string true, false. So we have here the variable. It's go to check branch. It's checking the condition. If it's true, it's gonna be true. If it is false, it's gonna be false. So by default, the boolean variable is false. So we're gonna check here. Gonna get our just placed in the word. We're gonna launch. Okay, you see false. I think you didn't see it, so I'm gonna increase the time. Compile here. Yes, false. We're gonna change our default value to 2 and compile again. It's true. So let's go to set now our variable. Place it here, connect it, and we do true. Compile and we go check. It is true. So this is the boolean. We go now to check another type of variable. Bytes. Bytes. Byte is this type that variable that range from 0 to 255, and it get can get values from 0 to 255, and it can't get a floating number, so we can give it like 1.5. It only range from 0 to 255, 0 1 2. So try it. See, we try to give it like 4.6, it will give it back to 4. It will remove the floating number. We see another type now. Just remove this. Integer. Integer is the same as byte, but it has more space. I think 16-bit, or we have also integer 64. Have a big range. Can give so we usually use integer, and we if our game or our blueprint need a big number, a really big, we use 64. We have also float. This is what we use commonly. A float is a type of variable that can have floating parts. As we can see, we give it a default value. You see 0 0.0, 6.5, and let's print it. So as you can see, it is 6.5. We have also another type variables, a name, text name. So what we have the text name is we use it for game names and to compile it. It's process faster than strings. We can show you an example here. Give it a name. Let's see. Game states. Get our game state and compile it. You then see it prints our name, text name. It converted to string first. We use this type not commonly, but when we want more processing efficiency, when we compare some game engine names. I will make a video explain more about them, but we gonna learn the basics. We go to string as you can see. It's the type of variables that combine letters and numbers. So I will give you an example. Okay, let's give it okay. Hello 1 2 3 4 and we print it. Hello 1 2 3 4. Another type of variables you're gonna use is text. Okay. What I'm gonna say about text is a really good variable. We use it when we use it for words or phrases that gonna show to the player. I will give you an example. Let's see here. Let's give it a default value. Hello. Okay. It's look the same as string, and yes, it is the same. But the use case of text is when we are going to show something for the player in a language, just an example in English, and then when we want to launch a game and do a localization, and we want to do French, Arabic, I mean more languages. Then we have the text that have a function that use the translate it to another languages. So it will be much easier to use than string. So text, use it when you wanna show the player these strings that you wanna then convert it. Use like a widget that have localization to change the language. Text will help you. Another type of variables is vector. Vector contain three variables that are floats. So we use vector in too many cases, but in sample cases it's used for rotation and scale. Let me give you an example here. Yes, here I saw it here. Yes, we use it for the location and the rotation and scale. This is a vector, this is a vector, this is a vector. So it has three float numbers, and let's go to viewport. It have the x float and y and z. This is the vector. It's located in the space. And we can use an example. Let's give it an, 5, 3, 2, and then let's get it. And we're gonna set it. Let's do here a break. Give the x and y, and let's change the z. The default value is 2. Let's give it -1. Then Let's get our, and okay, let's do here. Much messy. We can, okay, it's good here, and let's try it. So we change the z part, so it will be show 5 3 minus 1. As you can see, this is a vector. Another type of variable is transform. So as you can see, a transform has three vectors: the location one and the rotation and scale. So the transform is when you combine three vectors, and you use it generally for a player coordinates and to change its location, the rotation, and its scale. Use it also for actors that spawn on the world. It's we use it on all things we want to spawn on the world to manipulate them. And it has the same manipulation as vector. Just break it into three and then break the vector. Another type of variables. We have the structure. Okay, I'm gonna open uh, a new tab here to show our structure. We're gonna need create a new structure. Gonna go to blueprint. We have here structure. Rename it as underscore layer state. We open our structure. As you can see, a structure is, for simplifying things, you can say it's a list of variables. So we can have a boolean here, and we can add more variables. Let's give it like four. Let's give it boolean floats. We give it a text, and we give it a transform. So we name it this to is my play alive. We name this to health. We name this to player name, and we name this to our location. Change this to a vector. So you can see here, we can now go to our PP test and call our structure. We name it s underscore player. Okay, this is our structure now. As you can see, let's compile. You can see you can give it. Okay, let's know. Is my player alive? Yes. Health, let's give it 100. Player name, player 1. Our location, the world, let's do 500. If you can see here, we can get this here, get the struct. So we break our struct here. We do a function called break as player state. We can show what we want to show here. We can do, let's connect it, and we can show our player boolean, and let's say true. We can also show our health, as you can see. So a struct is a list of variables. We use it too much in games, so it's very good. Another type of variables we're gonna see now is enum. It is very interesting. So let's check our enumeration. We go third person map, counter drawer, and we do a new blueprint enumeration. Name it E underscore damage type. Go to our damage type. We have the description here. don't need to feed it, and we add two enumeration. We name it first magic and second fire. Go to our PP test and let's create a new variable of type of E underscore damage type. Apply here and you can see it has 2 damage, magic and fire. So we can get our variable here, and so we do a function name switch on the enum. We connect it here and we do a print string to check. We duplicate it. We type here fire, I mean magic. We do here fire. So, and we give it a default value of magic. We check here magic. Change our value to fire So that's the enum. So now we will see another type of variable that are function. So let's see. So let's see functions now. We go to our PP test and we go to the function, add a new function. As you can see, we go from the event graph to the new function. We name it to add health. As you can see here, it has a simple execution. You can see here an input and output. So let's do a simple thing to understand function. We go to our event graph. We have our new variable here. We name it health. This is the float. So that we are going to use it. We give it a value of 70. And we go to our function here. So we add it in input. So functions have input and output. An input that we are going to use inside the function. So let's do it a float. So we give it a float and we name it health also. So we do here a simple add. We add 10 and we add here an output and we name it health return or new health, and we place it here. So what we're gonna do now, go to our event graph and call our function add health. This is a function now, and we give it our health. We get our health and we give it here. So it's 70. Target let it itself, and we're gonna do a print string and we're gonna print our new health. So let's try this out. You see 80. So why we use functions and not just type the code here like we did before? So there is 2 reasons for that. First, so if you have in your game like multiple add scenarios when you do the same adding again and again and you just retype it, you can just do a function and call it instead of writing the code or writing the blueprint each once. And another reason for that, and it is the important one, is it's more efficiency like that. It's more give the performance efficiency because the code here, the add health, is not in our event graph when we charge our blueprint. And when we call the function, it will add it, or we can say call it to execute it, but it's not in our event graph. So let's go back to our event graph. So we remove this. You have seen how the function work. And now you're gonna see another type of variables. It's macros. So we name it to add on type. So macros have a really good, interesting variable, that is execution. So we can add multiple execution if you want to do that. So the first execution, and it has its own code here, and the second execution, it's had own code here. So what I mean is that we can have multiple scenarios when we launch this macro and we launch it from this parameter and we launch it from this parameter, and each one has its code. But generally we use it on the output. I will show you an example. So use our enum that we created before. This is the enum, and we get it here. We do the function that switch on E damage type. Have the output here. So if it is magic, add a new output here. So give it here the magic, and here we name it fire. So we do an output here, and we do another output here, and we call our macro here. Here can give it execution here from event begin play. You can even add a new execution if you want to execute this also on a key type, or I will show you this. Let's give it a new parameter, and here just let we do the event begin play, and here let's just name it the key play. So we can change how the key one work, but let's just simplify this and go to our event in play and do like E key. So if we press the key E here, press E key, so it's magic. Print string duplicated and magic fire. So we forget to compile here. Okay, here the output, we didn't name it fire. So you can see is the same as function, but you can change the execution. You can execute here fire, and if we change our the enum, it will show magic because our enum here is fire by default. So macros are really good for certain scenarios, but the problem here, instead of functions, that functions you call them and the code is gonna execute when you call them, but the macros is just when you call it here, it just copy all this blueprint and pass it here, so it still exists here, so it doesn't give us performance, much better performance. So we prefer to use functions instead of macros. In certain scenarios, if you need macros, you can use them. So that's all. I think we learned the basics, variables, our macros, our functions. So it's the end of this video. I hope guys you learned the basics of variables and macros and functions. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and like to receive the next tutorials I'm gonna upload. See you later.